I'm home, man. I'm home trying to relax, man. Studying some film.
Thought maybe you're out fishing or something, out on the boat.
Nah. Too cold for that.
You're not kidding, man. How tough was that as a coach? I mean, do you even feel the cold when you're out there coaching? And I know the players don't really care about it that much, but did you? I mean, it was 25 degrees last night.
Yeah, the wind chill. I mean, the wind was blowing really hard. It was a brutal game, man, for both teams.
What was your expectation going into that game? You know, Williamstown's always a tough opponent, and you can't take anything for granted here in the state playoffs.
Yeah, you know, when you face a legendary coach like Coach Frank Fuscatola, you know, I knew those guys were going to be prepared. I sensed that they believed that they should have won the first game. If, you know, some things were corrected. It was a tight game in the first game. This game, they had the opportunity to win this game as well. And I just knew they were going to come into Millville and fight hard.
Talking with Coach Dennis Thomas of Millville football, 20-14 overtime win over Williamstown in the first round of the state playoffs last night. And Coach, you guys were down 6-0 at halftime. What do you tell your team at that point? You haven't scored a point, and you're behind the 8 ball a little bit going into the second half, and your whole season's on the line. What do you say at halftime to these boys?
Nothing.
Nothing.
We actually were up 6-0.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we were up 6-0 at half. But listen, those guys, Williamstown played a really solid game, man. We had to win the line of scrimmage. We had to tackle better, and that was pretty much the difference in the game. A little miscues here and there. They forced us to turn the ball over once, and they scored off of it to go up 14-6. They did a really good job.
Now, when you're down 14-6 at that point, you know you only have maybe 1 or 2 more shots to score that tying touchdown, and you got to get the 2-point conversion. Was there any panic in your guys? I know you've been there before, and you have a pretty veteran group, so I can't imagine there was a whole lot of panic going on in that fourth quarter.
Kids were a little disarray. However, it's the job of the coaching staff to keep the guys calm, and they calmed down, and we just began doing things that worked for us early in the game, and it paid dividends for us. We were down 14-6 with a few minutes left in the game, and the defense played extremely well, and offensively we picked it up in the fourth quarter. We were able to capitalize.
Talking with Coach Dennis Thomas of Millville football, and Coach, you've had that constant in running back Clayton Smith. I'm sorry, Clayton Scott.
Yeah.
But the quarterback position, you've had a couple different guys play that position, Tristan Harris, E.J. Nichols, and the Ramos boys. So how have you handled that? I know it's not easy for kids to kind of come in and out of the lineup like that. How have you handled that situation?
You know what? It's good. E.J. Nichols is our starting quarterback. But then you look at Tristan Harris, he could come in and deliver as well. Combined, all 3 quarterbacks, E.J. Nichols, Tristan Harris, and Marcel Ramos, this year these guys have combined for 23 touchdowns and 3 interceptions with almost 2,000 yards passing the ball. So, we just have to coach each guy up. When someone's not getting reps at practice, they need to get mental reps and understand the game plan and what's going on. And that's pivotal in us being successful.
Now, do those guys, do they understand the roles they're asked to play? I mean, that can be difficult for a high school kid to maybe sit out for 3 or 4 series, come in for 1, that kind of thing. It's not always easy for a kid to stay mentally sharp on the sideline like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's difficult, especially for Tristan. Tristan's a really fine ball player. He was the starting quarterback last year when we went on and won a championship. And then EJ transferred into Millville, and EJ beat him out of the starting spot. And it's really tough on Tristan because, he set almost every school record for quarterback.
Right.
So now he has to share time with someone, so it is difficult. However, I think Tristan has accepted his role. He may not agree with his role, but he's accepted it. And, him and I talk about it. We talk about other things because, this is about life. The game of football teaches so many life lessons. However, we're still able to gel as a team.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point you bring up as a coach of how you have to communicate with these guys, especially in a situation like that where you kind of have to tell the young man, look, if you accept this role, there's a chance we can win a second state championship. So, how quickly does a kid buy into that?
Well, Tristan's a different kid. He's not your average kid where he's going to be. He's a team player. He's an absolute team player. He brought into the role. He's mature beyond his age. So he accepted it, but he may not agree with it. But he accepted it, and he's doing his best to help the team in a role that he's in.
Coach, tell me a little bit more about Carlton Lawrence. Josh was just telling me at the break how much this kid means to your team, and he probably doesn't get enough recognition.
No, he doesn't. Virginia Tech just reached out to another coach, Marcus Hammond, about Carleton Lawrence. He's a kid. He has offers to West Virginia and other schools, FCS schools. But the kid is phenomenal. Last night he was hurt. Last night he has a severely sprained ankle. But the first series he took it 76 yards for a touchdown.
With a sprained ankle?
Yeah, man.
Must be nice to be that athletic, right?
Yeah, he's extremely athletic. And the guys did a good job up front blocking. The receivers did a good job blocking their guy, and he was able to he broke a tackle and was able to take it 76 yards.
I don't think I'd be able to get to the mailbox with a sprained ankle.
These kids want to play, man. They want to play, man. Our motto in Millville is we fight. We continue to fight, and that's what those guys did. They fought extremely hard, and we were able to be resilient and persevere and win in overtime.
Now, Coach, real quick before we let you go, I know you have obviously to look forward to the state playoffs, the second round, but tell me real quick about that Thanksgiving rivalry with Vineland. I mean, one of the oldest ones in the nation, and that's got to be such a cool event to be a part of.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal event to be a part of. Vineland is a really good team. I think they lost last night, but I'm sure Coach Russo is going to have those guys prepared for Thanksgiving. They're going to play extremely hard on Thanksgiving, but it's a great tradition. Millville Vineland series. We want to go in and we want to win the ball game. So that'll be our last home playoff game of the year. So we want to go out with a bang.
Well, Coach, the turkey always tastes better with a win on Thanksgiving, right?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Coach, man, thanks for taking a few minutes. Good luck in the next round of the state playoffs, and we'll catch up with you later in the season.
All right, thanks a lot. You have a great day.
Thanks, bud.
Yep, later.
That was Coach Dennis Thomas of Millville. They had a outstanding 20-14 overtime victory over Williamstown, so thrilling for the fans.